Hey there everybody, Mazrock here, and today we're doing So You Want a Tank Grimrail Depot. This has definitely been pretty highly requested, actually, for my So You Want a Tank series. This is one where we were on stream last night. I'm recording this in the morning. Got some nice hot coffee right here. And this is a run of a 21 Grimrail Depot with a pug healer and two DPS I know. One is a friend of a DPS, a friend of a friend, and really, really good, really fun guy, honestly. And we actually ended up inviting this priest over to our next run, and he joined Disc, and we made a new healer friend, which is very, very nice. This run highlights everything I kind of wanted to show you guys in Grimrail, where I made mistakes, where I thought things went really, really well. And we have an extra little surprise right at the end for y'all, showing you the true power of Prot Warrior. So we get in first, and we have the first pull, which is fairly standard. You grab the first three, the Overseer, Laborer, and Technician. And then you grab the little, the Nathrezim that's right there. And then boom, done. Now, I said that I was going to kick the Technician. I accidentally hovered over the Laborer by mistake, and I kicked the wrong thing. But these Technicians should be your primary focus going down. The 50,000 volt cast hurts big time. You can spell Reflected as a warrior, but your party cannot unless they're all warriors. The activating cast is the thing that you absolutely need to CC, kick, whatever, because what that does when it does go off is, see these iron stars kicking around that you might know very well from Iron Docks? Well, they like to activate those. In Iron Docks, you get to use them to your benefit. In Grimrail Depot, they are used against you. So the activating cast has to be CC kicked, whatever have you not, and you should be rotating kicks and all that fun stuff around. So the Technicians should be your priority kill here, and you do absolutely want to make sure that they never get an activating cast off or whatever have you not. We were rotating kicks very, very well within our group. But yeah. So that's kind of the key there. There's nothing really crazy. The Laborers don't do anything wild. They do the Haymakers, but it's nothing truly to worry about until you get into a pretty high key level. The Overseers, though, I'll highlight them in the next pack. But they're really, they can be a little troublesome, so you want to aim them correctly. They're all about tank positioning. Now for here, I just opted to. We were doing well. Right, we had two very good pulls. I had banner going, so I opted to pull kind of everything together. You can skip, and I do suggest you skip the two Overseer pack over there. They're really not needed. So here again, Technician, you want to make sure that they're being CC'd. The Grimrail Overseers, the reason why you want to kind of watch them more closely is they do a dash ability where they have an arrow on the ground. And they can just run through your DPS, doing very big damage, but also at the same time, and this is where I made a mistake trying to avoid the sleep puddle, is we see that there's an Overseer that just runs right past me and almost pulls these other two Overseers that I want to skip. So this is something that when you see the arrows on the ground, you have to make sure. I put myself into a bad corner. They didn't end up pulling. But yeah, that could have been really not good on certain weeks, and I did end up killing my new monk friend DPS player. But things went really, really well. You want to try and aim them against a wall where you know, anywhere you can, but they are a little difficult to place, right? Especially when you're running two of them, because there always seems going to dash. Where I'm trying to get them to dash on a wall where the melee DPS have an easy time avoiding them, but at the same time you don't have to move too much, and I find this can be very difficult because they'll kind of pixelate stack on you and then not move sometimes, but that's the general goal. So I haven't really mastered this tactic yet, but I've done it well enough, as long as I'm not avoiding sleep puddles, to be able to get that done and work around there. Now the first boss here, I found out some new fun warrior stuff, but first, I totally forgot, we are going to pull Zulgamux through the wall. There's that little opening right there. Heroic Throw can work as well. Death's Caress for Blood Decays, I think, works as well. You're going to want to use some sort of ranged ability, but you can definitely pull Zulgamux. Now, you don't want to keep him in the boss area. You want to pull him out, because that boss does like to kind of pat things move. Now, he doesn't pat very far. Like, you know, he kind of just stays around his little buddy there. But with the Shadow Eruption, DPS tend to, you know, kind of run away and stuff like that. And it's just best to kind of pull him away, keep him in a spot where you know where if the DPS move around, you'll still be safe and not pull the boss. And then go from there. I mean, I'm pretty sure this boss is resettable if you go far enough, but it's always kind of not one of those things that you want to have to rely on to do. And then you go from there. Blood Siphon. By the way, warriors, you can spell reflect a tick of that Blood Siphon to do damage back to the boss. Back to Zulgamux. Very, very nice. So here I have banner going. I'm going to go right in and just hit Borka the Brute. Now, I try for the first little bit to keep him a little bit closer, but I also have the movement speed abilities to be able to do this. Warriors, if you charge him while he's mid-air, you're actually going to land where he ends up. Now, once he ends up on that platform over there, I'll move Borka the Brute into the middle of the room and just kind of work around there. We had great healers, and then you're going to want a great healer, and then you're going to want to aim him towards the Railmaster Rocketspark, and then do big damage. We lusted into a ramp here just a couple of seconds before, and as you see, he's just getting clobbered down. This entire fight, I think Railmaster actually had more damage on him than not. So at this point, I see the difference, because you do want them to die at the same time. I see the difference between Borka and Rocketspark, so I opt not to go in and cleave, just to kind of allow that damage to stabilize itself a little more. This is something where you need to be a little bit more aware of, and you always want to be aiming the mad dashes at Rocketspark while he's on those big things, the crates or whatever, so he can get hit and come down and take double damage. Rocketspark takes double damage when he gets hit by the mad dash. For me, again, for warriors, you want to charge around, right? That's kind of a big thing with Reprisal. You want to avoid the red air, the red stuff on the ground that hurts big time. If they don't die together, Borka the Brute becomes just a physical slam machine, dealing a bunch of damage to your team, and the other, but he is a little bit more manageable. If you're gonna have one die first by a slightly larger margin than like 2%, Rocketspark would be your one, because he pulsates like big old fire damage onto all of your team, which is just so bad. And it actually does crank, so that's not something you want to be doing too much. Here we have about an 8% difference. We're moving down. Honestly, it's pretty good. Plenty of reprisal options here, warriors. You know, plenty. You can use that movement ability of yours and kind of have a good old time. But in this one, our DPS are very aware of the percentages. Things are going down nice and easily. This is a good execute boss as well, because you have 2 targets to execute. You have big old primo damage here. Now here I was not paying attention, and I almost got clobbered from the back. And again, I got clobbered there as I was turning to charge. Didn't pay the most amount of attention there, where I should have paid more attention, but I mean, it was a 21, so I wasn't too worried about it. We had a healer that was doing really good, so I was playing a little carelessly, but I wasn't playing, I wasn't playing terrible. Oh, excuse me very much. Now, these Grimrail Bombardiers, these things truck. These things actually do truck. And as you see here, there's something I wanted to highlight that I screwed up. If you are on this platform, I backed up just enough to get on this platform, and as I did, I lost all threat. I don't know what this is. This is some weird bug. It's like our hunter just got cranked by that Vamp Claws, and that's mine. If you have to pull them down here onto this platform, not the one that you pull it on, if you're having weird threat issues, that's why. The platform that they're on, for some odd reason, they just lose all abilities. Now here I have 5 stacks of this ability, and I got a bleed. These guys crank. In 15s, I'll pull both of the bombardiers together, but when we get up to higher levels, there's no way. There's no way, because I'd have way too many stacks of the debuff, and you just die. Your healer's just going to spam you with heals the whole time. So that's something you want to watch out for. But yeah, especially on higher level keys, these guys actually do truck, and you want to rotate your defensives. You think because you're pulling one mob that it's not bad. It's bad. You start seeing this debuff come on. It's some sort of, it's a Sunder Armor type effect, and you just take more and more damage. So you really want to just not take that much damage. If anybody's got like minutes or 2 minutes, like, you know, that are good single target abilities in your DPS, call for it to help you out. This is one where I should have committed Shield Wall to, and the healer did a great job in keeping me alive here. Great job in keeping me alive. I thought I hit escape. I didn't. Oopsies. Where are you, Naz? So here we have our first, like, actual problem. This is, the train is where people I see have the most amount of problem, or saying they have the most amount of problems. Now for this one here, what you're going to want to do is the shrapnel blast is you're going to want to aim it in some sort of corner and away. Now, of course, we have, and you can sidestep it, you can full stop it. There's a lot of things that you can do to kind of help out. Grip for blood decays. Now here, there's a sleep puddle that came in. These things are actual cancer in Grimrail Depot. Like, there's just way too many area of denial for small little corridor spaces. I've noticed that having an over-the-top camera view is a little better for me. That's the way I prefer it. But you want to go from side to side, right? So pick a side of the train, and if there's no stops for that, sidestep towards the back, allowing your DPS to have the extra end of the train all back there and not accidentally aim one of the barrages. This is a dungeon where Disturb the Peace, the finesse conduit, is very, very strong to have a 30-second shockwave full stop. Even if like they start getting DR'd and it only lasts like a second, it's stopping that iron barrage that is just the scrap barrage or whatever it is, the fire frontal. This one here, the shrapnel blast. I made a terrible mistake. I should have pulled, turned around, let them do their shrapnel blast, and then gone in. Now we did live it, but this is one where I don't like to pull them in the car that they are, because the pack behind always gets pulled, and I haven't really mastered this one yet. But I'm happy enough with how it happened, where we were just, I had them directly in the middle, and we were swapping sides on Shrapnel Blast. This is a little bit more coordinated, and our Paladin had a little bit of a lag spike. He was like, oh no, I'm running in place, and then he was dead. These Grenadiers, by the way, these are the things, if you're wondering why, as a tank, you are getting cranked. It's not the Shrapnel Blast, it is those Grenadiers. Because what happens is they will target a random player with cannon barrage, and then just barrage the target location once the cast is finished. And what's happening is these black rock mortars, these cannon barrages here, will ground target the floor, and if they target a melee and the melee don't leave, you have no space left to move between shrapnel blasts and sleep puddles, where you are just going to get cranked. So here our guys did a very good job at managing the cannon barrages, and it just went so clean. But sidestepping here is so unbelievably big to learn how to do, and how to do properly, that it's going to save your run on rotating CCs. Grimrail Depot is a very big CC rotation dungeon. It loves just anything, any stops. Typhoons, in-cap roar, shockwave, blinding light, all of these things, like, you know, I can go on for a lot of different, you know, all the different abilities, but anything that you have to full stop that can make it a little bit better. So here, and this is one of the things I wanted to show you, we got the cannon barrage, boom, right there, and you just saw how quickly I dropped, right? And then I tried to start cutting away. It gets hectic the moment a cannon barrage gets dropped on the party, on the group, it's on the pull itself, and that can be very, very difficult. Now, that might have been on me, and DBM didn't alert me, because I was starting to get like 11:45 at night there. But here, boom, So there, that was on me. We're going to see this kind of go on. And as you see it happen, it's on me. Immediately move out. I place it off to the side. It's fine, and you go along, right? So that's kind of the way that you have to work that out. And the melee have to do this as well. It's not just on the tanks. The melee, your group have to position that correctly to be able to, you know, not die. So here we have Mr. Thunder Tower, which this is kind of a boring room of avoid the mortars. So we're going to skip ahead. It's quite literally just DPSing down to 60%. It's 30 seconds on a tyrannical week. This first phase is pretty boring, but then you're rewarded with a pretty fun second phase. This is where you're going to see the cannon just shoot up in damage and start beating most of your DPS. Now, I like tanking him around this area here. I've asked DPS, they've seen a couple of different ways, but they've said that they also like mine. But this way I can usually have threat on everything. So ads are going to be coming in, and that is your primary focus, right? Is all of these ads coming in, you need to be picking them up. That's as fast as possible, whether it's charge, taunts, throw abilities, ranged abilities, whatever you got, you need to be picking them up because these guys will truck your DPS. Now, your DPS's job is to loot the enemies as they drop their stuff, throw the rockets or whatever have you not at this boss that's in his cannon. But as well, you want to tank them near a cannon, right? So what you see here, this fight, we have 30k cannon damage going on. Because one of the abilities one of the items that the infantries drop is a very short burst, no, not short burst, but short range kind of cannon barrage type of deal. So what you need to do is when you group them up, you need to bring them near the cannon so when so a DPS player can jump in the cannon and just mow these guys down. When that happens, it's basically like Necrotic Wake, where the dungeon just starts playing itself, right? And that's kind of the goal of what you want, is let the dungeon play itself here. The DPS that know they have the homing ones, or the ones that damage the boss, should go into the farther ones, while you kind of have an easier time dealing with everything around here. The DPS also have to avoid the rapid fire mechanic or whatever have you not. This is a very hectic tank fight because there's a lot going on, but once the cannon is dead, then you're pretty much fine. And it's just DPS down the last of the ads and DPS the boss. You're going to need some stops for the shrapnel blast, going to need to sidestep stuff, but really not that bad. Yeah, so like, look at the cannon barrage, right? So here our DPS told me, hey, I have more of the cannons, right? Bring them closer. He can be DPS down by this cannon. You see it going off. It's dealing 70k DPS right now. Tank positioning on this one is very, very important. I started going into an execute window here. Oops. Could have done some stuff to be more defensive, but I didn't. The healer was just like healing. He was doing good. But I'm healing more than him, so it's kind of funny as a prot warrior. I've never really healed more than healers as a prot warrior before, and this has been the first season, and it's actually kind of amazing, not gonna lie. But as you see here, we're going into the last car with just second to last car, the whole good old fire floor boss with 13 minutes left. We're doing very, very well for time. Life is just cruising, going on ahead, and you want to make sure that you kind of just wait, use your movement abilities if you got any gate or anything. I would just heroic leap over. As a DK, I kind of waddle. I do make a mistake here that we do recover from pretty quickly, actually. But we're going to have to talk about these Farseers. The Farseers do the Storm Shield, which is an absolute priority kick if you can. But we did have a Hunter. Our Hunter can, they can soothe it off or whatever, purge it off. If you have any purge effects, you want to purge off that Storm Shield as fast as possible. Blood Elf, Arcane Torrent, the purge for VDHs, anything you got. Now, I accidentally fat-fingered charge here and just pulled all of this, and it went really well, actually. We had a good time. The Thunder Zones are one of the things that you're going to want to avoid. Here you see the Farseers cast Thunder Zones, It's a little area of denial square. It's kind of like giving you the boss mechanic of like what's to come type of deal. The Grimrail Scout will stay in place and do Arcane Blitz. On Sanguine Weeks, the Arcane Scout needs to be your priority kill target, because if you kill something while it does an Arcane Blitz cast, it's going to get back to 100% health so fast and just becomes an absolute nightmare on Sanguine Weeks. So that should be your priority target. Aside from that, the Farseer should be, because of the area of denial, and the Captain is just one that you want to watch out for. He doesn't mean cleave this Reckless Slash here. Or I think he doesn't mean cleave, where you just want to watch out as well. So there's a lot of things going on here. I should have just pulled the other two, as the Captain was way closer. I was starting to get tired, but given how this key went, we still had to do another. The good old Grimrail Loaders. These guys aren't very dangerous at all. I wouldn't worry about them at all. But here we have our full forces. Life is pretty good. And then we get to the last boss. The Dragon Breath Boss. Yeah. Is there a rocket launcher on that dragon? There is a rocket launcher on that dragon. Crazy. So Skylord Tovra. So this boss here has a couple of mechanics that you absolutely want to watch out for, but it doesn't deal heavy tank damage. Freezing Snare is unpleasant. I accidentally walked into a Freezing Snare. It does AoE damage to everyone nearby, and it roots you. So that's something that you absolutely want to watch out for. And I was like, I had some chat stuff going on in real life. Unfortunately, I had people trying to get a hold of me, and I was kind of like looking over at the notifications and stuff, and wasn't really eyeing stuff out properly. This spear is easily avoidable. Do not target this at your healer if you can. Do not stand in it. It stuns you. It sucks. Freezing Snares, you want to try and sidestep. As it, you saw it just kind of gets cranked. You want to avoid all of these all of these area of denial breaths, and kind of work around here. See Freezing Snare over there. Just sidestep it wherever you can. You have to be aware. If I'm not mistaken, there's going to be a certain point very soon. Okay, yeah. So here we're getting our monk back up. Things are starting to go a little wrong. Freezing Snare on me, sidestep, and then pull away, right? Don't just run away quick. Do a quick sidestep, figure out where the Freezing Snare is, and then move aside. And then whenever she does the spear, just be aware of where it is and move away. So boom, I love it when it's on the range. It's so much easier for us to deal. We have the Thunderous Breath coming in. I really need to move the stuff here. I'm not really liking that at all. I'm also thinking I'm going to move my party frames a little bit. I might do some UI changes. We'll see. There's going to be a point very soon here where our healer is going to make a fairly funny mistake. Unfortunately, our monk didn't pay attention. Okay, so here we have our healer. Yeah, it's going to be in about 10%. It's going to be pretty funny. I knew this happened, but I didn't get to see it. I did not notice where the clear room was here, but it's just going to go on. And yeah, so here we have a healer. Let's locate our healer. Okay. Okay, so here we have a soul-shaped Night Fae healer. Let's take a look right here. And bye! Our healer decided to jump off the train. No, he actually made a mistake. It was pretty funny. He soul-shaped off, but that is one of the dangers of things like roll, things like blink, and all of that fun stuff. Here, we're going to be losing bit by bit, one player at a time, until it is just me, the tank. Now, like I said, it's not too bad of a tank damage fight. It's just kind of maintain. I panicked use shield wall. I don't regret using it, but I regret not having it for the end, but I did have another ability. Here, the hunter is just literally trying to live as best as he can. And going down and going along with it, but he gets cornered over there. He just gets absolutely bad lucked by the Thunder Zone, and I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have. We have the Freezing Snare, and we're slowly just whittling him down, but I am going to lose my hunter friend. It is just the me. And I try and figure out where it's going on. I have no more defensives aside from maybe a shield block, but yeah, that's about it. And it's just going down to solo down this boss in a 21 Tyrannical, which I do manage to do. I get rooted because I tried to avoid that in the snare, and Rally just came off cooldown, and I'm almost dead. Boom, Rally, and I gained just enough health to be able to solo down, and I am a very happy camper in Grimrail Depot. That was a lot of fun, but that's basically what you guys need to do. It's very hectic. There's not a lot of mechanics that you need to worry about, but the mechanics that are there are literally like you need to know these and how to deal with them, and you're going to have a lot cleaner of a run that way, and then go from there. But yeah, that's So You Want to Tank Grimrail Depot. We actually ended up inviting this healer into our 23 junkyard, which we then timed and had a lot of fun with as well. And we have a bunch of gifted subs being gifted away, so it was super, super nice. Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to be on stream and stream these keys in front of everybody, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. It goes such a long way to helping out the channel. There is a Twitch link down below and a Patreon link down below if you wish to support me, and there's a Discord link if you just want to chat and have fun. All that fun stuff. Come on by, check that out. And this is So You Want to Tank Grimrail Depot. Have yourselves a good night, and thank you very much for watching. Bye!